everybody. Welcome back to the Chopping Block. Today we're going to talk about Lockport's connection to Prohibition. I'm Frank. This is Heather. And behind the cameras we have John and Tim. Thank you for being the sound man and for being the cameraman. That is these waving. We always give our staff kudos. See, they like to break our chops and do they're the tail. But now let's throw it back. It's a little different now. So, but anyway, today we are going to discuss Lockport's connection to the Prohibition.
Yes.
As we have a traditional laborers' lunch that would have had in early 1920. So basically, what it consists of, would consist of a cold cut sandwich, some potato salad, some pickled vegetables that came out of their garden or where have you, a piece of fruit. We chose bananas because they're the easiest thing, and a drink of choice, however they do it. So as we discuss it, we're going to start putting this together. Heather's going to chop the lettuce. We're going to put it in. We're going to get a little bit of new style twist on it. We're going to make our own little kind of jardinera to put on top as we have this here.
What is a jardinera?
Well, technically, it's the pickled vegetables that are there. It's cauliflower, carrots, olives. We put it in a vinegar brine, and it's like you would pickle beets or pickle something like anything else. That's basically what it is.
Nice.
They're actually really good. I eat them all the time. I like the hot jardinera actually because it's got peppers. It's got cayenne peppers. It's got jalapeno peppers. And so, as right now, Heather is chopping up the lettuce. I am chopping up the red onion that goes in with it. And we're going to start to discuss Lockport's claims and Prohibition.
Right. So, tell me first off, what are the dates of Prohibition?
Oh, you threw me a curve.
Crossing.
No, I forgot. It's I know it ended December 5th of 1930.
31, 32.
31 or 32.
And started in 1920.
1920. Started in 1920, ended in the 1930s, approximately 10 years. And we are going to probably, if things work out, so if it's a weekend, we may end up doing a special end of Prohibition hunt if it all works out.
Absolutely. Yes.
And I just threw that one in there. She had no idea it was coming.
I was planning it last year.
Yeah, it's all good. So,
that's not kind of sales. It's used the right side of them.
Right. Use the right side of them. So, as we're discussing this, Lockport's proximity to the Erie Canal made it a lot easier to move goods and services and a lot easier to move alcohol up and down the canal to different points, whether it's New York City, whether it was Canada. It really didn't matter much. You could put that right in there now. So it just made it a lot easier to do that. And then along with some of the trucking industry, they used that to push around the alcohol and other types of goods that they had. Now, tell me a little bit more about what we know about what could have possibly taken place here at the Western Block location where we are doing our chopping block shows, because it is actually a haunted location. Mm-hmm. So we do our shows here so we can work around in that.
That looks really good. So yes, let's see, let me just put all that there. This property was active during Prohibition, and
so why was it so active during Prohibition?
Well, we know that this whole area was very active in the movement of alcohol because its proximity to the canal and the use
across the street.
Yes.
Sorry.
And their use of the canal to move that alcohol around from Canada into the country, and then distribute it all throughout New York.
So on this property, what makes this property so? This property and some of the surrounding properties, what makes them so appealing to smugglers and things like that? And what was in very close proximity to this property that made it very appealing?
And well, this property was really good fact that it was once hydropowered.
Okay.
So it was hydropowered by water that was spilled off from the canal system, brought down along the properties, and the amount of power it was able to produce as it came down through the ridge and down to these other properties was enough to power the entire complex. Now, fast forward to Prohibition, and these waterways weren't as in use, but we still had the tunnel systems. And there's one active spring that actually flows under one of the buildings.
What were those tunnel systems called?
They're called raceways.
Raceways. And they
Yes.
go under the building, out to the canal across the street,
Under the canal.
under the canal across the
They
street,
call 18 Mile Creek.
and they spill out into 18 Mile Creek. So,
And because of that, they are able to very secretly and
those
subtly
right?
move alcohol through that system of the underground tunnels. Now, interestingly enough, there was also a brewery at the top of the hill.
Okay.
And
Just
that connected to the spring that flows under the building. And that waterway is still active today.
That's cool. So now, what do we know from the owner, which is Mr. William Keenan Jr.? What do we know from his journals about what they did, what they were looking for here, specifically at Western Block, in lieu, not saying lieu, but during Prohibition? I should say.
So, well, there were in such short supply of barrel makers, GO&Y.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he was able to find and secure somebody to make barrels specifically for them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why would, and again, this is where we get back to a few different things. Why would a successful businessman like Mr. Keenan decide to risk some things to find a barrel maker for what reason? No. Well,
I mean,
so was he
interesting.
dealing? Was he smuggling? Was he aiding?
Did he not?
Did he not know?
Correct.
Was it under his nose? Was there there's a lot
of different things.
unanswered questions, a lot of things that we don't know that we're starting to dive into.
But there's a couple interesting things about that.
Okay.
So, Mr. Keenan was actually from the South. And his family
Put 2 or 3 capfuls in there.
made a lot of alcohol.
Okay.
Oh, that's tight. They were so it was natural for him to have alcohol within his, daily activities.
Gotcha.
So once Prohibition hit, why should he?
Why shouldn't he stop? Right. Gotcha.
Especially when it was something just so routine and.
Brainless. Yeah. They did it as his family did it for kids. I understand that.
But then you also say under their nose. Was that 2 cups or 3?
That's fine.
You also mentioned under their nose.
Right.
They were not only at that time had the owner obviously on site to take care of his factory, but we also had the fire department and the police department.
They're all on site.
All on this factory, all in close proximity to the area that it was believed there would be alcohol roads.
Interesting. So now, what were some of the names? No. Because that's an after. This is all goes on the sandwich later. That's all right. Put that back over there. But, so, what are some of the names that we know that were connected with not only Rockport, but Buffalo and the surrounding areas as far as
Moving and distributing.
as far as the big bosses, that type of stuff. Because we know Rockport's just a small little place, and it was more of a
local distribution.
Yeah, more of a local distribution, more of a hidden gem kind of thing where they can.
It was a hidden gem.
Where they can do their stuff and then not be caught. There was a lot of fanfare.
Stopping is kind of like through the canal system to move the alcohol.
Correct.
So it was a hot spot for distribution. But it was the Magazines early that actually had our truck routes that were that bad.
So we have, again, I forgot. So you keep talking, and I'll explain what we're doing afterwards. Go ahead.
So it was the Magdino family that had set up all these trucking routes to be able to move the alcohol around. So they were using the canal out here, as well as trucking routes to distribute alcohol from Canada all the way down all the way out to New York City, and then down into Pennsylvania.
So now,
it was a very large network.
Wasn't he one of those? Wasn't he with one of the 5 families who were caught in Appalachia when they had their big meeting, their big bosses meeting?
Yes.
So, funny thing about that too is, I found out that with my family, we did a lot of, and again, I just learned this a while ago. Just ran this recently, actually. After this, my great grandfather was a rudder, smuggler, whatever you want to call it. So what we had there, we just finished making and mixing up, as Heather just showed you. That is the salad topping that we were going to use. How you can catch.
Yes, it is.
That's the salad topping we're going to use for the bread. I know we almost lost it. We almost didn't get to eat tonight. So now I'm going to start layering the sandwich. I'm going to put on provolone cheese. I'm going to use turkey, ham, and some roast beef. And then we'll layer this on, and then we'll distribute it and cut it all up. But getting back to that,
So
my great-grandfather, I should say, was involved with some of this stuff. Whether it was, I don't know the details. We don't have all of them. We are absolutely all just digging into that right now too. So we're just scratching the surface. We all have a lot of questions as to.
I mean, each family has its family secrets.
Of course. But we're just scratching the surface as to exactly what it was he did, how he did it. Apparently, his father was involved in it.
Fascinating.
We do know that it was alcohol, and we know that it was girls. So, where alcohol goes, girls goes, and we all know how that rolls. And you can't have one without the other. So, what's it? Alcohol, girls, and gambling? That's the way it is. And those are three.
That's actually really interesting because once Prohibition was over, we moved into distributing other stuff around here, like cigarettes and
legitimate stuff.
Yeah, gambling. So small, what we consider small things now.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't get out of the game with Prohibition stuff.
No, you usually don't.
Yeah.
And one other thing that we found out too is that here at Western Block, they had to put out a memorandum of understanding, so to speak.
It does.
As for, go ahead, I'll let you tell because you told me.
So they had a union back in the day. The Western Block was kind of the UAW, 606, if I'm not mistaken. And so they had to specifically put out a PSA, an employee notice, a union notice for everyone here not to. What's the word I'm looking
harass
for?
Each other, basically.
Yes.
Leave each other alone.
Yep. The union could not harass people who were not part of the union. People who were not part of the union could not harass people who were. They had to be respectful of each other.
So
it's back to the point of if there's a memo, who is the person that the safety notice is off of? Who made the safety notice positive? Whenever that happens at your own work,
so
usually there's a go-to person. So obviously something was happening. Yeah.
Right. Now, there's a lot to surmise. We can surmise that the Teamsters, that the union at the time was strong arming some of the people into helping them.
Right.
Maybe they didn't want to be part of the union or part of the smuggling or anything that was going on, illegal stuff, and they were harassing them, and then they got.
The union was back at that time showed some of the activity that was going on. It's put aside.
Right. Yeah. Allegedly. Right. There's not a lot of history records when it comes to prohibition, and the smuggling and all the things that go on. Because obviously those activities are usually kept under wraps because they're illegal. So they want to make sure that nobody knows, and that's why Lockport was such an interesting hub for them because as bustling as it was an easy place to hide because it wasn't a huge big city. It wasn't New York. Yeah. It wasn't Rochester even. It wasn't Buffalo. They could hide. They could come out here to some of the suburbs out here. Have their little meetings and things like that.
Who knows if they had, the cabinet paid off?
No, exactly.
Who knows if the department was too small to pay attention? So tell us what you put on sandwich.
So basically, I put turkey. I layered the turkey down. I layered the ham down. I layered the roast beef down, and then I layered provolone cheese. And now I'm going to let you, nevertheless, on top. We found reliving. You can actually put it back too if you want to hold the bowl.
I can't have it a little bit.
There you go. That's better. So that way, here. I'll hold it this way. Just don't make too much of a mess.
Yeah.
So with Lockport being this close to everything, it was a very was a very nice place. I took from the little line before we
So,
the sparring. Yep. So on Lockport being close to the canal and being a close route to Buffalo, being a close route to Buffalo.
yeah, I wonder where that light just went.
I don't know, but that's okay.
Very interesting.
That's sure is. A lot of things have been interesting. Every time we talk about prohibition, we always get a lot of interesting things happening.
Yeah,
It's almost like they don't want us talking about it.
we had a camera. The battery died on us. We lost footage last time.
Great.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do now is we're going to start to play. Oh, this is going to be very interesting. So let me do this.
Take a look at this then. Show everybody.
Let me do
Look
this.
how massive this sandwich is.
So it's like this. That's what we look like. That's what we look like. And now I'm going to lit it. And then what we do is, we're going to lit it.
Oh,
Well,
you can use it like
Like
Put the lid.
top on. I use some language that I watch on some of the cooking reels that I watch from some of these
I don't know those.
some of these shops. I don't too would know under some of these things. So,
Lucky if I can micro something and it's out of her.
well, there's that.
Just onion.
So we're going to cut it.
Slice and dice it.
Let's not dice it. Let's cut it. So we'll be in later. Again, this is just another sample of something that you can take with you on your trip. See what that was? It took us 15 minutes. So now I'm going to do something pretty cool if I can. The reveal. Now look at that. See how that's layered nicely in that? That's delicious. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with plating. We're going to put a little dollop of potato salad on there, and then we'll put a little dollop of the vegetables on there, and then we'll put a sandwich on there, and the banana, so we'll be good to go.
Excellent.
So, but again, Lockport was a strategic hub as much as it was a smaller hub. It was nice and easy for them to hide here if they needed to. But it was also easy for them to come out and distribute. Yep, wherever you want to go. Come on.
Where would the banana go?
Don't tell me about the banana at the end.
And stick it in the middle.
Yes, we'll stick it in the middle.
That looks good. Okay.
Delicious and messy all at the same time. Nothing.
No, it's gonna be good.
So with what I said, with Lockport being the hub between Buffalo and the canal, it was a lot easier to transport, whether it was transit road, all the way straight up and down, whether to get this up to the canal. And a lot of the stuff that happened in Buffalo happened out here in Lockport. And by that I mean they would take the girls, prostitutes, whatever you want to call them at the time, their honeys, and they would transfer them from Buffalo to Lockport. They would work both spots because they control everything. So they can make the girls work wherever they wanted them to work at certain points of time. Same thing with alcohol. If you needed alcohol in Buffalo, you can pull it up here in Lockport, run it down. You could run it down the canal to Buffalo. And, right down, because I think the canal comes to Black Rock, if I'm not mistaken, comes in that area. So you could run it from Lockport to Black Rock. And here we have what would be a typical laborman's lunch for the afternoon. Now the sandwich may not be that big, but you get the idea. And they would have a drink of choice. Now we believe it's kind of whiskey or rum or whatever kind of thing they were pushing at the time, but it could just be water or juice or coffee, probably coffee most likely. So, right? So we are just diving into more information on what's going on with Lockport and Prohibition. This is just scratching the surface. So we didn't get a lot out tonight, but we're going to have a lot more. Yep. And again, going back to my family at least, I have a feeling that there was a point in time where that relative of mine was in this building at some point, doing something, helping, moving.
We know we had connections in Lockport.
Correct. We know we had definitely connections in Lockport. They had connections in Buffalo. We know that Actually, in Buffalo, where he was, the Italian mafia was right down the street from the Polish mafia. So now we don't know if they were working together in concert to move alcohol back and forth. Maybe they were bringing it from Lockport, getting it to the guys in Depew, and then Depew all the way out to Buffalo.
Who knows? Maybe if a kid was arrested for something silly and was in one of the cells on their property.
That could be too. That could be too. There's all. That wouldn't surprise me. He was arrested for something silly, having an unregistered gun, but that's a whole other story.
Another fascinating one.
That's another fascinating
one.
But with Prohibition, it's a great thing to dive into. It's a great part of history to learn and to see how things transpired and what happened and who was connected to who and who did what and who didn't do what.
We love it when we talk about it.
Yeah, well, they absolutely do. And the hardest part is there's not a lot of written stuff.
Documented stuff.
It's a lot of legend. It's a lot of air passed down.
Exactly.
And it's a lot of he said, she said. Mm-hmm. Oh, this one was part of that one. This one was part of that one. There's rumors that part of different societies. And I'm just going to use one. It's called the Black Hand Society. And it can mean a couple different things, but back then it meant something else. They were a strong arm kind of thing. I'm not going to say they were as bad as Murder Inc., but they were a strong arm kind of thing. Anybody knows who Murder Inc. is? Alba, Anastasia. They were the killers of the monopoly. They were the contract people of Mafia. If you wanted somebody out, Mafia would contract them, and this is all historical.
They got the job done.
They got the job done, exactly. And then, unfortunately, Anastasia pissed somebody off, so then he got the job done. It's just the way it works. So, with that, it's so much. What else have you found here at Western Block that we think ties into the Prohibition that we're trying to find? Trying to get confirmation, I should say.
There was mention that there was also a bordello here.
Correct.
So
I'm talking about something solid that you have right now in your possession that we want tested.
The whiskey barrel.
So there you go.
Yes. All right. So first off, we don't know if it's a whiskey barrel. It's a barrel. We found a barrel on the property. We actually have several, but we have one that's intact.
Okay.
And we are interested in talking with any student organization, university, who would like to do a little bit of testing on this barrel to find out if they can figure out if alcohol was ever in it. Now, of course, it's not going to give us any definitive answer whether it was a barrel that they used here for alcohol around. Right. But, it at least opens up that window of possibility. Hey, there's a barrel here that at some point had whiskey in it.
Right. And it's another dot you can connect. Yeah.
So
history's great. You start connecting dots one by one, takes you down different rabbit holes.
Yep.
That's a huge rabbit hole we found here because...
And, we love working with students. We love working with the community. So we want to bring in any university or student group because we need looking for extra credit. We'll take a piece of this barrel. See what you can do with it. More the merrier because, more testing.
Exactly. And the more information we find, the better off we are. Yeah. So, we hope you guys enjoyed our segment this time.
Yes.
And as we like to say here at the Chopping Block,
unlike the people who are thrown in the wayside,
we hope you guys come back. So, thank you again. We hope you like it. Again, this is another meal you can take with you or purchase things while you're there to have it quick and easy so you don't spend a ton of money.
Yep.
So,
bread is a liquid delicious.
Thank you guys again, and we will be seeing you next time at the Chopping Block.